Greetings and welcome to Enigmatic. I hope you're all doing well today. We're going to play a little game. It's called YouTube Roulette because I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. I'm working really hard on just being consistent in general. So I've been doing pretty well of posting about 2 videos a week. So here's the second one for this week. And I also just wanted to, say thank you to a lot of people that have joined the channel. I really appreciate it. You're more helpful than you know. And in the spirit of reciprocity, I hope that this channel is something that'll always give back to you. It's really hard for me to just think about myself. Like, yeah, I need to worry about myself and do my thing too, but we're all in this together. And I think that's kind of like rich coming from me because I'm very much an independent person. I hate asking for help and things like that. But, we're all in it together. This is why I always kind of question people that, claim that they, made it on their own. It's like we all had to have help from a lot of disparate sources. Yeah, we would all like to be that badass, but we're not that badass. Just as creatures, we're kind of frail. But that's just, an idea because I feel like we put ourselves on this huge pedestal, just really out of like a comparative framework and not really exhausting the possibilities. It's a vague way of what I was really trying to say. Anyway, I wanted to say thank you to everybody that's new. Thank you for everybody who's, been sticking around for the past few months that I've been doing this. So yeah, what are we going to talk about? Because I'm not just going to start a video and be like, oh, thank you, and then have a great day, and be good to you, be good to others, like, subscribe. No, I'm going to give you something, I just got to figure out what I want to, give you. I feel like I'm pretty good at checking myself. So I think that's what I'll do right now is check myself because I kind of caught myself in some nonsense that I, put myself through. Now, it's not completely nonsense. Like the spirit of it has good intentions, but what it's done to me hasn't been a positive thing, right? And so what it is about, compliments and sentiments and opinions from others. And I caught myself in a little bit of, a contradiction, and I feel a little bit like a hypocrite. And that says a lot because I do a lot to avoid hypocrisy. When we are hypocritical and it's like a consistent thing, then we lose, trustworthiness. But also, we're just not on point, if we're going to be a hypocrite all the time. It also kind of shows in some ways that we're willing to, always give ourselves the benefit of the doubt, but not others. And we'll always give ourselves leeway, but not others, or those that happen to appeal to us. So like I think about like nepotism and cronyism, for example. In some ways, those are hypocritical. If you're picking somebody for a job because they're family and not based on their qualifications, then that's asinine because most other people that weren't family, you base it off their qualifications. So anyway, back to the topic at hand. I was thinking about how a lot of people seem to believe in me. A lot of people seem to have, very, very positive things to say about me. And I am quick to just shrug it off. I'm quick to think that it's not true for some reason. One of the first things that comes up is imposter syndrome. So I think that the compliment I got by proxy of fooling someone in some way, whether that was on purpose or not, whether it was subconscious or conscious. I think that I'd like trick somebody, right? I'm like, oh, I can't be this great. Like I must have fooled them, right? Or I think that they might be lying to me. Like, oh, they might just want me to feel good for some reason, or they're just trying to kiss my ass for some reason. Like, I might not know what that some reason is, but that's just where my mind goes with it. And then the next thing that I do, and this is where, I'm kind of giving myself a break on this because this is a good thing, but I try to be very objective in a lot of ways. I try to be objective knowing that I can never be 100% objective. And so that being said, if somebody gives me a compliment, I kind of want to know like the truth value. I want to know what, like, in terms of argumentation, what justifies that sentiment? How is it true? And so, that is just a trap in and of itself. It's a black hole, because every single time I will be able to find a way in which that sentiment is invalidated. So say somebody tells me, oh, you're so intelligent. I immediately think about ways in which I'm not intelligent. Then I also think about how, in a lot of aspects, when we make certain comments about things, it's comparative. And so then I'll think, well, there's plenty of people that are way more intelligent than me. That was actually kind of a bad, for me anyway, that was a bad example to give, because intelligence is this like very murky, mysterious thing to me anyway. But, that's beside the point. That's not what this is about. And so it's nice that I'm trying to be that objective, and that I try to like scrutinize like compliments as they come in, because I don't want to apply something to myself if it's not true, or if I can't see it as true. And then by proxy of learning from others, there's a lot of people that take things to heart a little bit too much, and it goes to their heads, and they become kind of arrogant and pompous. And that's something I've always been trying to avoid. But the thing about it is that when somebody gives me their opinion of me, that is something that is true to them. They don't have to be, as critical of a thinker as I am. Like, I don't need to, that shouldn't be a mandate for me to trust what they said, because it's true for them. It comes from a place of subjective relativism rather than anything objective, even if it's stated in an objective way. We have to consider the source, right? And so that's kind of helped me, drop the rock a little bit more. And dropping the rock entails me, putting myself out there more, because there's a lot that I would like to do, but I just get in my way with a lot of different considerations that damage confidence, right? So yeah, I had to really catch myself. And I remember like writing that in my journal, and just really feeling it in my body, what it was like to catch that. Because I get kind of socially awkward too. In the moment when somebody gives me a sentiment, I kind of clam up a little bit, but then at the same time, I want to maintain, what's the word I'm looking for? It's escaping me right now, but just kind of like a social standard or expectation that we have for good communications with people, that makes our socializing pleasant, right? I try to make sure I keep up on that. But now I feel, and like me trying to keep up in that is inherently inauthentic, because I am too busy flustering in my own mind with like the flotsam of thoughts that decide to pop up and float around, and get in the way of the ship that is my mind, moving through the cosmic conscious sea. And so that space is, a lot more open now. It's actually showed up in my medicine work recently too. And it's refreshing. I literally feel not as heavy. It's ironic I said that. This time of year is a little bit rough for me. I have reverse seasonal affective disorder, and my eating habits have declined a little bit, and I've lost some weight. And it felt really good today, because I was as a way of trying to not let it bother me so much, because it's something that has messed with my head since I was a kid. Being light, being small. I was just letting people know straight up, and then moving big weight. So I had a buddy that was at the gym, and I haven't squatted in about a month, and he's like, "I'm squatting. You want to squat?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so." I'm trying to stay away from it so I can work on some hip issues that I have, but ended up squatting 235. So 100 pounds more than I weigh, and wasn't extremely warmed up for it either, and so that feels good. But that's like another one too, where people will be like, "Oh, you're so strong," and like, even though there's a sense of ways in which we can see that I'm strong. So for example, my all-time squat is 335 for 2. My all-time deadlift is 445, and my bench press is 225, and that's all weighing 145 pounds. And somebody tells me I'm strong, and then I still like find some way to be like, "Oh, I'm not that strong." Like I'll think of Anatoly the janitor, for example, and be like, "Oh, he's stronger than me, so I'm not that strong." It's silly. But this is depression. This is mental health. And I guess that's what this channel is turning into, is just like a mental health channel aside from any other random shit I want to talk about, right? Yeah. So all this is to say is, our skills of discernment can never be sharp enough, whether we're using them inwardly or outwardly. And so give yourself some grace and give yourself room to grow. It's something that I haven't done a whole lot of. So give yourself room to grow. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and close up. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that this does you well. Please give me a like and subscribe. If you know somebody that this might touch, please feel free to share it with them. And be good to you, be good to others, and have a great day. Sending lots of love. Take care. Bye.